All he can do is manage what he's capable of doing. That's by winning his remaining 2 matches. This one here, of course, his remaining match will be against Ronnie Carter.
Ronnie
Carter, although he can't qualify, group winner, won't be doing Ronnie O'Sullivan any favours, I shouldn't think.
O'Sullivan will have direct interest in all 3 matches in this session. The 2 he's playing in, and that middle match, Pang against Yuan. A draw in that for him would be just fine. Assuming, of course, he wins his other 2. We have had a group, though, already. A first phase group where someone topped the group at the end of it, having lost his first match 3-0. That gentleman was Stuart Bingham. And he's in finals day in a couple of days' time, having won his second group as well, a little more comfortably.
Yeah, Stuart was very, very impressive yesterday. We do lose initial match 3-0, as Ronnie O'Sullivan did, of course. You need a lot of help and luck along the way if you are to prevail. Complete contrast of styles here between these 2 players. Ronnie, I know it's very early in the season, but he's averaging about 13.8 seconds per shot in the matches that he's played so far this year. Opponent here, Pang, well, he's pretty much double that. His average shot time at the moment is 26.29 seconds per shot. That's reasonably pedestrian by today's standards.
Plenty of players have discovered, though, to their cost, that Pang is not to be underestimated. I saw him play in the Championship League 2 years ago. He didn't impress me in the slightest, and then as he got bedded in on the tour, he became more and more comfortable and more dangerous.
Well, he's certainly very good technically. That's one thing I'll say about him. The other thing I like about Pang is that he doesn't push the boat out. He plays very well within himself, doesn't play too many power shots or forcing shots that can go astray. What a clever operator.
Well, look at this from Zhao Xintong. He's taking this game to a whole new level of speed. And he makes it look ridiculously easy. He's 1-0 up on Wilson already, closing in on yet another century.
A full ball double kiss on that red would have been very helpful for Pang. Would have promoted the cubal up the table further for the ideal position on the black, but as it's happened, he didn't quite double kiss the red as he'd have hoped to. If anything, he's tied the black up now. Look at the position of the reds. One mistake. Still be very costly with the pink in open play.
Pang Janxu, 1.
Spoke earlier about Zhao Xintong, the prodigious talent that he has. Ronnie O'Sullivan, I know, is a great fan of Zhao Xintong and gives him some advice and help wherever he can. Ronnie O'Sullivan, he doesn't offer his services free of charge to many players. He was enjoying a veritable banquet earlier of Chinese food with all the other Chinese competitors here and their friends.
Yes, he has a tremendous warm relationship with the Chinese contingent as a whole. They hold O'Sullivan quite correctly in very high regard, both personally and professionally. And that's why this is a big deal for Pang. It's his first ever meeting with the great man.
Yes, Ronnie, head of a lot of the major tournaments over in China. Of course, we don't have any currently because of the COVID pandemic, of course, but does do a lot of exhibitions out there and promotes the game wherever he can.
While Pang is mulling this one, I can tell you, in 6 minutes, Zhao has taken a 1-0 lead over Gary Wilson with a break of 123. The world is that young man's oyster.
Well, of course, Xiao Xintong did come to prominence, of course, winning the prestigious UK Championships. Great event to win, of course, as your first major, but back that up with some very, very good performances since then, of course. So players, when they win their first major, can struggle. Hammered with their achievements. Of course, all the focus and attention is on them thereafter. Xiao Xintong is hungry for more.
And the first world ranking title for Ronnie O'Sullivan was the UK Championship. And we tend to forget now, we call 25-year-olds young players. When he won the UK, he was 17. He remains the youngest ever world ranking event winner.
Five minutes or so ago, these Reds are in wonderful positions. Just look at them now. It's a dreadful frame, it really is. I think both these players would love to start this one again.
But Pang has unlimited patience. We've seen it so often over the last couple of seasons. He can score heavily, he can grind it out.
Surely hasn't left a gap through to a red here, has he? And he did do. It's a bit of a mistake from Pang. He ought to have covered everything there, but didn't.
One.
Ronnie's been very unfortunate. How on earth has that cue ball come to rest there?
Ronnie O'Sullivan 1.
We can't overstate the importance of this evening for Pang. If he were to make finals day, he would be in the last 8 of the tournament, and that would be the first time he'd been in the last 8 of a world ranking event. He's been in the last 16 on 4 occasions.
Just wonder what he's looking at here. He could play a safety shot off the two reds together, just to the right of the pink. Maybe top one of the two. He could swing the cue ball past those reds and the black. To be played perfectly, and my goodness it was. Appreciated by Ronnie. Look at this, tight to the bulk cushion. Where he was, that was quite some achievement. Has he left a red over the corner pocket? He has, and that's a little unfortunate. That gap for Ronnie this time has managed to get some sort of a position on a colour. Brown though is very missable.
It's the kind of ball, Tom, if he was in a flow, you'd fancy him to get, but first frame. They can go astray.
Certainly in a frame like this, it's become rather disjointed, but all of a sudden, Ronnie can knock that red in that's close to the pink there. Both pink and black will be in open play. Quite a few loose reds as well for Ronnie to attack. Oh, he's in off.
Foul.
Well, because of the angle he had on the red, he had to use the pink to screw back off, hopefully from his point of view, for a bulk colour, but you never quite know how a shot like this will react, and unfortunately for Ronnie, Keevil found the middle pocket.
Wanted the cue ball to run, and on this occasion it did not. Mind you, nestling in behind the yellow could be useful.
Yellow ball, thank you. Janxu 1.
I thought that Pang, in potting the red on the thin side, he may have finished on a bulk colour. He could have attempted the cut back on the brown, but I did a snooker Ronnie. This isn't an easy escape. Shouldn't be difficult to hit a red, of course. They're spread everywhere, but getting it safe is an altogether different problem. This is looking good. The pace is sufficient. It's not quite. Good effort.
Foul, miss.
Found a way to get to this red that's just below the black. It's the ideal red to rest upon. If he does make contact with it, may leave a red that's possible to the right centre, but I think that's about as good as Ronnie can do.
Ronnie. Hi, thank you. Foul and a miss. Janxu 4.
With sufficient pace, he would have been narrow on the first attempt, and he was narrow there. He's one of those players, Dominic, he doesn't look a great stylist, does he? But he gets the job done time and again. Very difficult to break down.
He looks to me, Phil, like one of those players that places a great deal of emphasis on his technique, his cue action, and all those things. And you can get on top of a player like Pang. He may have a few self-doubts, but he's one of these players that's better than he looks, possibly.
6.
Yeah, I think not possibly, definitely, having seen him play quite a lot. It's no coincidence that he can mix it with the best. Look at his first season. He reached the last 16 of 3 ranking events, which for a rookie is a really good achievement. And he beat the likes of Barry Hawkins, Stephen Maguire, Mark Allen and Ding Junhui to get there. Earlier this year, to get to the last 16 of the European Masters, he defeated Neil Robertson.
I was just about to say, to get to 4 last 16s of ranking events, you must be doing something right, and you must certainly have a great deal of skill and expertise. Really, he does have that.
13.
It takes years to learn the game properly in terms of break building and finding the right shot to play at the right time. He still is learning. Commentated on one of his earlier matches and felt break building wise there was a couple of shots he should have played earlier on than he did, and so I don't wish to disparage Hang in any way because he's very young, he's learning all the time. Certainly be taking something out of this match with Ronnie O'Sullivan.
Yes, he was 22 in February. Hails from the Janxu province of China. But I agree with you, Dom. I think if he does have an obvious weakness, and it's not a weakness, it's just a comparative weakness, it might be shot selections when it comes to break building.
Janxu, 90.
So close to dropping, but now what an unusual looking table. 5 reds, all on the right hand side.
Wow, and a miss. Ronnie O'Sullivan, 6.
Oh, clearly that went completely wrong. Ronnie into the table, still 21 points behind here. We could do with bringing multiple reds into play as soon as he can do. So
1.
it could be that he tries to bring the 2 reds into play that are on that right hand side cushion and leave this red that's over the left corner, or right corner, I beg your pardon. Failing that, he could pot it here and screw into the 2 reds and develop them, expecting to be on pink or black into the left corner. That's probably what Ronnie will do, I expect. Oh, he tried to play the cannon but missed them entirely.
8.
Disappointed there, Ronnie. If he's on the yellow with a good angle, he's been very fortunate. Well, the perfect angle. Still hasn't finished nicely on a red.
10.
I'll tell you what, he struck that really, really well. There's a tendency on all tables when you play that shot down that cushion for the red to just marginally come away. Let's see if it did. Held a pretty good line, one has to say.
Just needed to pot the red a little thinner than he did. But this is the sort of frame that Ronnie is likely to win in the end against somebody less experienced, just because of Ronnie's knowledge of the game itself and the shot choices that that need to be made in situations like this. The remaining reds are tight and on cushions. Oh, wasn't that beautifully executed?
Exquisite line and length. Nothing spectacular in the second frame from Zhao Xintong on table 2, but it's the same result as the first. He started off with a big century that took 6 minutes to compile, and now he leads Gary Wilson 2-0.
Clever shot if he's hidden the red near the right corner by the pink. Good cue ball from Ronnie, but it wouldn't surprise me if he attempted to play that red into one of the other reds on this top cushion. Prevent it from going over the corner the way it has done. He's looked likely. The cue ball cannon a secondary red there. That's a big mistake.
One.
The red nearest the middle pocket. Yes, it's very close to that pocket, but you need to be quite close in to knock it in with confidence.
Yes, and in order to get on a colour from it, dropping
8.
it in dead weight, I'd rather have the cue ball quite close to the cushion. I wonder if Ronnie
9.
will play here to leave the cue ball against that side cushion, so in potting the red, getting on the brown shouldn't be a problem. Is that a touch pacey? How easy
50.
is this red, and what pace can he play it at? Oh, it was okay in the end.
60.
So, 4 points the lead. So I'm mistaken, he's going to need the slightly tricky blue, not only the green,
20.
brown and blue afterwards as well to win this frame from here. Oh, that was a little careless, wasn't it? Where's it going to finish? Right over the pocket, I think.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 20. Two.
Isn't straightforward, he needs to be straight as possible on the brown. Get nicely on the blue.
Five.
He's played that really well.
Hasn't he just? What I will say though, for a left-hander, the blue is not on the the best side of the table.
Nine.
That's why. Didn't try and get in behind it to pot it to the green pocket. He dislodged it. Perfect. Blue and pink needed.
$14.
Who would have thought?
First frame.
Ronnie O'Sullivan is still waiting to win his first frame of the day. He lost his opening match 3-0. Now he trails Pang Junzhu 1-0. It really is a tale of contrasting fortunes for the two heavyweights involved today on two separate tables. Ronnie O'Sullivan is now at the point of no return. He can afford no more
Second
lost frames.
Pang Junzhu to break.
O'Sullivan simply has to win this match, and to do so, having lost the opener, he must win the next three. As for Zhao Xintong, we told you he was 2-0 up on Gary Wilson. It remains thus. I've just looked at the table. If Zhao were to win the next frame to complete a 3-0 victory, he would be safe and secure as the table topper, regardless of what happens from here on in.
That was a good safety from Ronnie. Good cue ball. It is 2 or 3 inches off the baulk cushion from where he was. It was pretty good to get it there. No easy safety here at all for Pang. I wonder if he'll consider the difficult red to the right corner. There's a lot of risk attached to it though. Oh, superb.
One.
Now, we did see him look a few moments ago to see if this black would pot. It must be very tight, and if it is very tight, I'd prefer to be much straighter on it than he is. This could be very difficult if this black is only just going past that red. Managed it, well played.
Eight. Nine.
two Chinese players simultaneously in the balls. I can tell you, Zhao Tong on table 2, going nicely. Yesterday we saw Stuart Bingham win a group with a match to spare. Zhao
16.
just a handful of pots away from replicating that.
Ang's highest career break to date is one of 144. That's impressive enough. I might be trying to eclipse it here.
Steady on, Dom.
Thank you.
I think he'd be more than content with an 80 at the moment,
70.
but I know what you're saying. It's a good chance. Zhao Tong, what a player. And we are grateful to have his presence on finals day. He's there. With this victory, he's got 6 points. Now,
24.
Gary Wilson and or Mark Allen could get to 6 points, but they can't beat him on frame difference or on the head-to-head.
25.
He's got to screw into the reds for me here. If he can arc the cue ball just past the red that's directly above the black into the reds that way, they should fan out really nicely. But I didn't expect him to play that shot because he's refused that type of shot on the
32.
few frames that I have commentated on him. Still keen to retain
33.
black ball position.
Forty. $41.
Oh, the 6th black coming up.
$48.
Himself a little bit to do here. In potting this red, he can still get back onto the black. Red should open nicely.
$49.
Yes, sir.
$56.
This could be something special, so I'll keep this brief. Zhao Tong did beat Gary Wilson 3-0 with breaks of 123 and to clinch 101.
$64. 65.
Whenever you attempt a 147 break, you want to play for a choice of reds. Pang cleverly playing the screw shot there to leave him a choice of, well, there are 4 reds which he can get
72.
back to the black from. That's perfect.
$73.
Sure, he's beginning to feel the pressure of this situation. He's got nothing in mind at set to 147 attempt here.
$80.
Earlier today, Zhao Zintong, his highest break in professional competition was 144, same as this. And he took a blue and made a 145. But Pang has eyes only
81.
for the black.
Previous positional shot went slightly astray. That was a reasonable recovery. You can only really play this with topspin, so the angle of the cue ball will just have to take care of itself somewhat.
His highest break in pro competition was made this year in the
88.
World Championship qualifiers. Is it going to be eclipsed?
$89.
Ronnie O'Sullivan has been the architect of a record 15
96.
147s. Not been in the chair for many.
$97.
Oh, is he a little straight on the black? If he is, he'll have to screw back off the side cushion. Play for the red to the right of the pink, into the same pocket. Needs to be as straight as possible, needs to avoid the cannon. Well, it's gone wrong. It's gone wrong, but he could still double the red
104.
into the left centre.
Far too wide.
104.
What a pity, but a great break from Pang Junzhu nevertheless. 104, and amidst all of that excitement, something has been forgotten. Ronnie O'Sullivan is out of the Bedvictor Championship League. Talk about a totally unaccustomed position. Ronnie O'Sullivan has played 5 frames today, and he's yet to win one.
Third frame. Ronnie O'Sullivan to break.
After losing 3-0 to Janxu first up at 12 noon, he now finds himself 2-0 down to Pang Junzhu. The best he can do here is to gain a draw, and that is not sufficient. O'Sullivan will not be returning for finals day on Friday. So that 40th world ranking title will have to wait.
Well, Ronnie has a chance here to do something, not having won a frame so far today. Potting the red to the left corner, there is a chance that he could rebound the cue ball off the top cushion and just flick away that red from the black to be on it. Get one go at this. If it goes wrong, it can usually spell end of break. Played it quite nicely.
One. Eight. Nine.
I was just thinking, you know, he makes so many 147s in exhibitions,
16.
The length and breadth of the country. He's made some recently.
70.
This might be the perfect environment to add to his total. No great pressure.
I was thinking along the same lines, Phil. I was just about to say, actually, previously,
24.
it'd be ironic if Ronnie were to knock in a 147 after Pang's failed attempt in the
24.
last frame, but a lot will depend on this next pack opener from Ronnie.
$32. $33.
I think he's been sensible. No point in going for
38.
low probabilities. Could still finish in second place in
39.
the group. If he salvages a draw here and then beats Ali Carter last time out.
$46.
Yes, of course, this is a ranking event, so
47.
higher up the table Ronnie can finish, the more ranking points he'll amass will be added to season total.
Yes, even if he
54.
gets a draw against Pang and then beats Carter, as
55.
I said, he would then still need for Janxu to beat Pang in the match that's coming up next. That's to finish second, of course. All thoughts of
61.
topping the group are now well and truly out of the window.
62. $67. 68.
Looks to have played that absolutely beautifully, Ronnie. Can play into the 3 reds now from the pink without having to play it with a lot of pace, but may well have gone wrong. Frame is safe
74.
though.
Ronnie O'Sullivan, 74. Frame conceded, frame. Ronnie
Pang looked at the scoreboard, realised that he was 74 down with 67 on. 2 snookers needed. He didn't fancy the job, and so finally, belatedly, Ronnie O'Sullivan wins a frame here. He's 2-1 down. It's a case of win, lose or draw today, and O'Sullivan might well experience all 3. He would love to win this frame.
Final frame.
And gain something, and then clearly you would be motivated to beat Carter in the last match of the day. As for Pang though, a victory in this frame and thoughts of being in finals day on Friday would be at the forefront of his mind.
Let's see what Ronnie thought of that. He's playing a delicate, floaty stun shot around the back of the black. Just didn't time it well at all. Didn't cue it straight.
One.
Huge frame for, not that man, for Pang. If he wins it, he goes to the top of the table with 6 points, and that would mean next up he would only require a draw against Janxu to become the 5th Chinese player into finals day. 8 players will be here, 5 of them will be from the People's Republic. By the way, if you're wondering, no more Chinese players can qualify tomorrow. Group G is Sean Murphy, Elliot Slesser, Ricky Walden, Anthony Hamilton. Group B is Luca Brissell, Daniel Wells, Chris Wakelin and Jamie Clark. So the dislodged the reds nicely there, but not a great amount of angle on the black.
That's where a nice straight cue action,
16.
all-round good technique comes to the fore, and Pang has all of that. Spotting this red, he'll be cannoning into the pink. Oh, what an effort that was, to adjust the screw back from the pink. That retrograde action on the cue ball. Adjust it beautifully, and he's on the black again. Oh, is he going to have a second to go here at 147, I wonder?
Now, the first time you mooted that, Dom, I told you to steady
24.
up. Here, I'm going to be a little more reticent and say, maybe, maybe.
25.
I think he's been
32.
fortunate there. What a lovely little cannon to the red. Straight enough on it to run through for the black. Seems smiling. He realises how fortunate he's been there.
Thank you. 33. $40. $41.
He's the real deal, this lad. He's a really good match player who can only improve as the season goes on. 53rd in the world rankings now. My book bound to improve.
$48. $49.
Bottom red of the four. Should be his next target here, I feel. Just off straight in potting it. He may be able to nudge the other
56.
three above it into play, but he may be dead straight on this red.
$57.
Now the break becomes a little more difficult. The reds are spread far and wide, and it's the correct angle on each and every one of them to be able to retain position on the black. Picking the right shot to play, vital importance here.
$64. $65.
The one thing about Pang, he won't be scared of the situation. But he's hit that badly. Yeah, not happy.
72.
Just not enough stun on the cue ball. Did to rebound squarely off the top cushion. It just wasn't able, just able to slide a little, leave himself the wrong angle on the red. You can still pot it and take the cue ball in and out of bulk, but the frame isn't won yet. 72 ahead, 75 still remain.
And let's not forget, this is his first meeting with O'Sullivan. A victory over the world champion. Nothing to waste. Look at this, Dom. Come on now, White. Get some legs.
Going. Yeah, keep going,
73.
keep going. Oh, it's a foot short. Wow, what do you do here, Phil? The frame's safe, barring snookers. I don't think Ronnie will carry on. Do you take the black on?
Well, it's thinner than thin. And of course, when you're hitting it like this, just shaving the black, the cue ball could go anywhere. He's got no control over that. Oh, overcut the black, would you believe? Over